done for the day. It's like exercise done for the day.
Yeah, do you need to buy tickets?
No, we did buy a ticket yesterday.
Okay, it's on your phone there.
Oh, you've got the receipt from me, yeah.
On our left is Rosalind Park, named after Rosalind from Shakespeare's As You Like It. The park was opened in 1870. The Soldiers' Memorial Hall on your left was built over what was once the main shaft of the Hustlers Royal Reserve mine, which for decades thundered away right here in the city. It mined the Great Hustlers Reef, one of the richest reefs ever discovered in Australia. Notice the life-size statue of Sir George Lancel holding a lump of quartz in his hand. George Lancel was known as Australia's quartz king, and although he came from humble beginnings, his passion for quartz mining made him Bendigo's richest and most respected citizen during the gold rush years.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
The former Santos public offices were opened in 1887. Then, at Federation, became the Bendigo Post Office. Today, it is home to the city's visitor centre and the Post Office Gallery. Both the Post Office and the Bendigo Law Courts building we are now passing were designed by Major George Watson. To your left is the historic Conservatory Gardens. It's hard to imagine that in the 1960s the glass conservatory was marked for demolition, all in the name of progress. Ahead you will see the gold monument. This monument was erected in 1901 and depicts Fortuna, the mythical goddess of good luck, dropping a gold nugget into the pan of a digger. Bendigo is still to this day one of the richest gold fields in the world and yielded over 700,000 kilograms of gold, worth approximately $38 billion at today's prices. The gold rush attracted people from around the globe, including thousands of Chinese who came to Bendigo in search of prosperity. Bendigo's Chinese precinct is called Dai Gum San. It translates to Big Gold Mountain, as Bendigo was known to the first Chinese who settled in the region. The proud history of the Chinese is displayed in Bendigo's Golden Dragon Museum, the adjacent Yiyuan Gardens, and the Kuan Yin Temple. At the museum, you can view Bendigo's famous Chinese dragons, Lung, the world's oldest, Sun Lung, formerly the world's longest imperial dragon, and Dai Gum Lung, Bendigo's newest and the world's longest dragon. The Bendigo Chinese Association display is a spectacular highlight of Bendigo's annual Easter Fair procession, which was established in 1871. We're now passing St Killian's Church. It is one of the largest wooden churches in the Southern Hemisphere and was the fourth church to be built in Bendigo. St Killian's was initiated by the Catholic priest Reverend Dr. Henry Bacchus, a German immigrant who came to the goldfields in 1852. He was sometimes called Reverend Quarter Allotments because of the valuable properties he acquired in the early days. Upon his death in 1882, he left behind real estate valued at more than £75,000, a huge sum in the day. The gold rush attracted people from all over the world and led to Bendigo becoming a mixing pot of cultures. The area we're now entering was originally, and even officially, known as Irish Town because of the very large number of Irish diggers camped nearby. Is Tramways Avenue, at the end of which is located the Bendigo Tramways depot and workshops. Our first trams were battery powered and operated by the Sandhurst and Eaglehawk Electric Tramway Company, which began running in 1890. The battery technology was in its infancy back then, and the trams constantly broke down. As a result, the battery company went into liquidation after only 13 weeks. In 1892, steam trams were brought in, and the old battery trams were converted into trailers for them to tow. Finally, in 1903, electric trams were introduced and have been running ever since. A short drive straight ahead is the Bendigo Botanic Gardens, and a little further on, the Bendigo Pottery. Both should be on your to-do list if you're spending time in Bendigo. Bendigo Pottery is Australia's oldest working pottery. Established in 1858, the pottery was operated continuously from the current site in Epsom since 1863. It is home to the most significant collection of ceramic wood-fired kilns left in the world. Today, the pottery complex includes an interpretive museum, artist studios, and an extensive antique centre. For those who like getting their hands dirty, the daily wheel-throwing lessons are highly recommended.
This is a lovely way to walk around. Care of crows. So is there...
The Fosterville Mine, which they sponsor the tennis centre here, which is about, how far is it, about 10k?
Something like that.
10k over there somewhere. The richest, they're mining one of the richest quartz reefs, and I think it's something like 6 parts per million. So for every 1 part of gold, they're finding this reef that's underneath the quartz reef.
This section of track was added during World War II to take workers by tram to the Commonwealth Ordnance Factory in North Bendigo. World War II reduced the number of men available to work to such an extent that the Tramways were forced to offer conductor positions to women. By the end of the war, there were 22 women employed on the trams. However, they had to relinquish their positions when the men returned from service. Next stop, Lake Waroona. If you're getting off here, please mind the step and use the handrail as you leave the tram from the right-hand side.
I've got a video of some ducks walking on the edge of the lake there. See if I can find it. Years ago.
So I've just got a couple of minutes to wait here as we're... This is my
He's
job.
the boss, I'm going to go.
So there is still mining here today?
So it's up at Fosterville to the north of the city.
Yeah.
You may not have missed that. Yeah, there's a heap of gold underneath us. Just not high enough concentration to be economic.
As we cross the Bendigo Creek, you will notice the bed of the creek is paved with bluestone. Over 100 years ago, the city councillors were forced to pave the creek in order to prevent slime and mud choking it and inundating the city, as a result of thousands of miners using their puddling machines further up the valley. We're now entering Bridge Street. In the 1950s, tram travel was a very affordable option for Bendigo families. A one-way fare to anywhere in town was the equivalent of 5 cents. Tram travel was reliable too, and many drivers prided themselves on running their services on the dot. People who lived along the tram route would often set their clocks by the time the tram rattled past their door and rang its bell. As they travelled along Bendigo streets, the trammies used to ring the gong at regular intervals to let people know the tram was coming. It was a common sight to see people running along the street with a piece of toast in one hand and combing their hair with the other. We're now approaching the Tysons Reef precinct. If you wish to get off here, please pull the left-hand bell cord once Mind the step and use the handrail as you leave the tram. Tyson's Reef is one of 17 quartz reefs that run beneath the city in roughly a south to north direction, covering an area of 16 kilometres long and 4 kilometres wide. In excess of 5,000 shafts were sunk throughout the mining history of Bendigo, which represents the largest concentration of deep shafts anywhere in the world. We're now heading into Caledonia Street, which leads to the former Commonwealth Ordnance Factory, or Tallis as it is known today. It was built during the Second World War and is a world leader in defence, aerospace and ground transportation solutions. Tramways used to provide special services to bring workers from all parts of Bendigo to the factory. During the war, the work was top secret. All sorts of weapons for the forces in Europe and the islands were manufactured here. Since then, the factory has continued its role manufacturing the Bushmaster, an armoured patrol and combat support vehicle. These highly reliable vehicles serve with distinction in Afghanistan, Iraq and other areas of conflict. Next stop is the Bendigo Joss House Temple. This Chinese place of worship was constructed in the 1870s and is one of the few remaining original buildings of its type in Australia. It is constructed with locally handmade bricks and painted red, symbolising happiness, strength and vitality. The Joss House remains a place of worship and is regularly visited by worshippers who travel quite some distance to pay their respects to Wan Di, the god of war and prosperity, to whom the temple is dedicated. Check with the driver or conductor about the Joss House opening hours, and if you are getting off here, please mind the step, use the handrail, and leave the tram from the right-hand side.
So where is the Joss House?
Okay, the Joss House.
Over there?
Right over that way.
Okay.
And I did say to Linda, sorry, on the chart, sorry, Tom, I did say to Linda that I think
Hi, how you going? That's good.